If you thought Haitians eating cats was the weirdest news you'd hear this year, then boy, do I have one humdinger of a murder for you. This is gross, so if you can't handle depraved murders, I'd take the earbuds out right now. Meet 38-year-old Kristina Joksimovic, a former Miss Switzerland finalist. When she didn't pick up her 2 kids from kindergarten, the school called her parents. Her dad picked up the grandkids and dropped them off at home with their dad, Marc. He said he didn't know where she was and that sometimes Kristina just leaves. Marc invited his father-in-law inside to have a drink. The two chatted for hours, had dinner together, and tucked the kids into bed. Kristina's father went to pick up his wife and then came back to Marc's. While the two chatted, the father snuck off to look for traces of his daughter Kristina. He went to the laundry room, which was the isolated bunker in the basement. That's when he saw a big black bin bag with blonde hair sticking out.
What's in the box?
When he opened it, he saw his daughter's severed head as well as her partially pureed remains. Yes, partially pureed remains. I bet those cat-eating Haitians aren't that big of a deal now, are they? Marc was shocked because likely he assumed his father-in-law wouldn't find her. When he was being arrested, Marc told Kristina's mother that, quote, "Well, you told me you'd only come by briefly." Oh, so now it's this woman's fault that he killed his wife. Okay, but how did he do it? This is where the murder gets macabre. She was strangled to death. Her body also showed signs of blunt force trauma to the cheek, eyebrow, nose, leg, foot, shoulder blades, and the back of her head. He then used a jigsaw, knife, and a pair of garden shears to dismember Kristina. Marc also carefully cut out Kristina's womb. According to the court, quote, "This deliberate mutilation or ritualized degradation of the body is believed to indicate that Marc has a mental disorder." You think? When I read decapitated and pureed in the headline, that kind of gave away the mental part. I didn't need him to remove a womb to prove that point. He then gathered up some of her body parts and put them in either an industrial blender or dissolved them in a chemical solution. Investigators found a large number of skin flaps, of which they say some had attached muscles. They also found many pieces of muscle, some of which had bone attached. The autopsy showed that Marc broke Kristina's hip joints out of their sockets and that he severed her spine, splitting her torso in half. Investigators discovered that Marc watched YouTube videos while he diced up his wife. Marc first claimed that he found his wife's dead body by the stairs. Then he said he strangled her in self-defense against a knife attack. A month before he murdered his wife, they had posted pictures on Instagram of a couples getaway they attended. They had only been married since 2017. First, only a man would have the audacity to claim that he found his wife's body and that pureeing it was obviously the natural thing to do. Then to say he killed her in self-defense? Yeah, the whole decapitation, severing of the spine, cutting of the womb. Why is it that men can say the dumbest shit you've ever heard, but say it with such confidence? So the next time you hear the phrase single childless cat lady, maybe remember this story. Getting married is a big deal and a matter of safety for a woman. Make the wrong decision and it can have lethal consequences. Men seem to forget this when they berate women for being 30 and single. In between all the boring, rude playboys and womanizers, we have to watch out for a man that might cut out our wombs. Picking the right husband is tricky business. Maybe modern men shouldn't get their panties in a knot when we expect them to pay for dinner. A $10 burrito bowl from Chipotle is really not too much to ask. As the phrase goes, men are afraid women will laugh at them. Women are afraid men will kill them. Or to restate that in modern terms, a cat may make you a little kooky, but a husband might turn you into a Slurpee. Thanks for listening to Broad Thinking. Be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode. In the meantime, if you're looking to enlighten yourself with some controversial topics, check out my interview with Celeste Solum, who talks about how the global elite are planning to kill you. Or check out my interview with Dustin Nemos, who talks about how Trump is the Antichrist and how Trump staged his assassination attempt. Those interviews are so controversial, you'll only find them on BitChute, Rumble, and Brighteon.